Mario Kart is a game that can be played. A game that can be played multiple ways. But how many ways exactly? Now some of you may be thinking that's easy. You can race or you can battle. Simple as that. But how can you race? And how many types of battles are there? On top of that, it is in the nature of humans to go beyond, break barriers, strive for innovation, and thus there have been many ways to play Mario Kart that fans have invented beyond what has been provided. My point is, just as there are many ways to interact with this video like subscribing, commenting, liking and sharing, there are multiple ways to play Mario Kart. And so, I have decided to work out how many there are and explain how to play them. Before we go over all the ways you can play Mario Kart, I'd just like to go over some specifics. Things like custom items, different kart combos, or different CCs, although they slightly alter how you play a game, it isn't changing how you play the game. Only things that purely change strategy and rules on how you play the game will count. So let's start off simple and go over the basic ways to play Mario Kart. How our overlord Nintendo expects us to play their game. There are 3 ways to race and 5 ways to battle, creating a total of 8 ways to play Mario Kart the vanilla way. Racing consists of time trials, Grand Prix, and races. In time trials, your only goal is to achieve the fastest time you can for individual tracks. You are given 3 mushrooms for the time trial to use at any point to help you. Grand Prix is where you complete a cup containing 4 tracks, and based on your performance over the 4 races, you are given a rank, with the highest rank being 3 stars. You can only get 3 stars by getting exactly 1,000 hidden points total, which needs 250 points per race. Racing simply modifies rules to how you like, for example, custom items and how many races you would like to play. Battle mode consists of balloon battles, where you aim to pop opponents' balloons for points while avoiding getting yours popped. Renegade Roundup is where players are split into runners and chasers, where the chasers aim to catch all the runners before the timer runs out. Bomb on Blast, which is the same as Balloon Battle, except the only item available are bombs, and you can hold up to 10 bombs at once. Coin Runners, where you aim to collect as many coins as possible, and Shine Thief, where you aim to hold onto the shine for a total of 20 seconds. You can lose or regain the shine by using items on opponents. And that concludes all of the game modes Nintendo has designed, but let's go over other ways to play Mario Kart outside of what has been provided. Leave it to the gaming community to make one of the least competitive games have a competitive scene. What's next? Animal Crossing? That's not a challenge, by the way. Please don't do it. Many of those unfamiliar may believe that the online global is the competitive scene and VR is a ranking system, but this is not the case. Competitive Mario Kart is known as Lounge, and it is quite complex. To join, you must create an NK Central Registry account and your account verified in the official Discord. From there, you'll be placed into a rank in a large ranking system as shown on the screen. Through the Discord, you can queue for a match in which one of the players will host a private room. The most common format is 2v2 Mogi, in which players are allocated a random teammate, and before racing, you and teammate must choose a matching tag so you can clearly identify as being on the same team. The game goes for 12 races, and players' MMR are increased or decreased depending on their performance at the end of the 12 races. You can also squad queue if you'd like to play on a team with your friend. If you'd like to know more about competitive, I'll leave a link to the website in the description. And furthermore, if this is something you'd like to get into, I highly suggest checking out JP Givener, as he has a lot of content in that area. So, after discussing the competitive side of Mario Kart, let's go over what I would say is the complete opposite to competitive in an infamous game called Mario Kart. Now, as the name suggests, this game involves drinking, so please do so responsibly. In Mario Kart, you are required to drink an entire beer or drink of your choosing before the race ends. However, there is one simple rule. As you are a very responsible person, you are not allowed to drink and drive at the same time. So, you can strategize when and how often you consume your beverage. Over time, additional rules have been added, but that is up to you and your friends. Some prevalent additional rules include drinking for getting hit, loser taking a shot, drinking when in a bullet bill, and if you have a friend who's a little too good at chugging, no drinking on the first lap. It's completely up to you. And if you're underage, you can do this with a Ribena. Now, here's something I came up with, and I have scoured the internet and have not seen a single person try this challenge before, so I'm claiming it as my own, and no one else is allowed to do it. I'm joking, obviously. But I like to call this the Rival Challenge. As you may or may not have noticed, when attempting a Grand Prix, you'll find one or two CPUs that seem to outperform the rest. This is due to something known as the rival system. Each character is given one or two rivals, as seen in the chart, who outperform all the other CPUs to make the Grand Prix more difficult, and thus the Rival Challenge was made. In this challenge, it is your goal to ensure your rival gets the lowest score possible. Another way to play this challenge is also to reverse it, and try to help another racer win or outperform your rival. Furthermore, you can play these games with your friends, where you could enter a race, choose a random CPU, and help your CPU beat your friends. My favorite part of this is that it completely changes how you play Mario Kart and allows for many different strategies. Will you use shells and bombs to slow down the competition, or try to help dodge or create pathways for who you want to win? It's completely up to you. The final way of playing Mario Kart I can think of is simply challenges. Similar to my Heaney's plug to my own challenge, there have been many famous challenges that can be applied to Mario Kart. The most notable include a Nuzlocke, Iron Man challenge, and anything that hinders your racing. The Nuzlocke originates from Pokemon, in which the player may only catch the first wild Pokemon encountered in each area and no others. If the first wild Pokemon encounters faints or flees, there are no second chances. Any Pokemon that faints is considered dead and must be released. If the player runs out of living Pokemon, they failed the challenge and must restart the game. The way this works in Mario Kart is that you randomly select a racer and must win the race with that character, or else they are considered dead. You keep going until you get a character that you cannot use again. You can make this easier or harder by involving vehicles, gliders, wheels, or even certain combinations. Next is the Iron Man challenge. This challenge involves getting first place with everything from a certain category. The most popular rendition of this challenge is of the characters, which I have yet to complete. So you would have to come first with a total of 44 characters to complete the challenge. Pretty difficult, right? You can make this easier by setting a threshold or even drafting against friends. Finally, hindrance challenges are simply ways to make winning harder. Some examples involve waiting a set time at the start before racing, not using items, not being able to drift, and so on and so forth. So, how many ways does that leave us with? We had a total of 8 ways to play through vanilla Mario Kart. Playing competitively and not so competitively takes us into double digits. The Rival Challenge, Nuzlocke, and Iron Man Challenge take us to 13. And with hindrances, that leaves us with a whopping 14 different ways to play Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. But we're not finished. No, I want you, the viewer, to find more ways to play or comment if you already have them. We live in a world where video games have become so customizable and offer so much variety that it feels like there's an infinite amount of ways to play. And I find that beautiful. The limit really is our imagination, and we can find anything if we look hard enough. So, while the written number is currently 14, who knows how many ways we can play Mario Kart 8 Deluxe? And with the next installment right around the corner, there may be even more ways than that. So with that, my name is Will, you've been a great audience, thank you for listening.